Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy Peter Liu, Real Wheel Deal, and today we have the brand new ADVAN ONI2, the resurgence of a legend. This is the new version of the ADVAN ONI1, which was really popular, really famous back in the day. So stay tuned and we're gonna go for a deep dive into this video. So before we get started, I want to let you guys know I've been doing these videos for a little bit over a decade. So as to help me out, hit subscribe, comment below, turn on your notifications. Every time I do a video, it's only for a wheel that I think is really important. So I don't release a lot of videos, but when a nice wheel crosses my counter, then for sure I make one. So make sure you guys stay tuned and stay subscribed, okay? So first things first, of course, we're diving into the history of the ADVAN Oni. So you know what the Oni stands for? Oni stands for demon in Japanese. Essentially, it's a kind of yokai that they have. Kai stands for violence. So essentially, if you're running this wheel on your car, you're driving violently, or you're driving with bad luck on your side. So this is a very, very dangerous wheel. And that time, that wheel was really well known for something called Oni-kan culture. So Oni-kan culture, how that started in Japan, was back then, drifting was starting to get really popular. It was doing it in toge. They were doing drifting on the streets. Those guys would start running some pretty heavy camber. And the camber just got more and more aggressive as those guys were doing bigger and more powerful drifts. And finally, the camber got so crazy, it wasn't actually functional anymore. And they started naming that demon camber. So it's called Oni-kan camber. That's where this wheel kind of came known from. It's known as demon camber. So after a while, when it stopped being functional, it started being kind of like a movement, kind of like a style feature where guys were running these really aggressive camber wheels. And that's when this wheel started getting really, really popular. So since we described what the name came from, we also have to notice that this is a 3-spoke wheel, which is very, very popular and done by ADVAN for a long time. So now we're gonna do a little bit of a deep dive into ADVAN's history of their tri-spoke and why this tri-spoke has been brought back and why there's a resurgence of tri-spoke again with ADVAN. So the first one was the ADVAN A3A, which was a very famous wheel way back in the day that originated, and it was a 3-spoke wheel. One car that was really famous was on one of the racing A86s that Drift King or Kiichi Tsuchiya was driving. That wheel was originally released in a 14x6 with a +6 offset, which was absolutely perfect for the A86 Truno back in the day. So I'm gonna put a picture up above here of the original A3A, and also I'm gonna have the picture of the original racing car that Kiichi Tsuchiya drove. So now you see the car. This is a very famous one, ADVAN Racing A86. So you might not know the name of it, but now I have a picture up there, you know that this is a very iconic A86 that was driven back in the day. Obviously it has a lot of strong lore around it. Wheel was the choice on that car. I would say of all the A86 wheels, that wheel is probably the most iconic, maybe up against the Watanabe as well. So the ADVAN A3A, when it came out, was only available at 13-inch, anywhere from a 6 to 8-inch wide, or a 14-inch, which was around from a 6 to 7-inch wide. Also, the available color choices for that wheel were only red and silver, which is what we mostly see them in when you're kind of looking for a used set or you're looking through Japan auctions. So through the success of that led to the next tri-spoke that ADVAN released, which was the original ADVAN Oni. So I'll put a picture up here. So original Oni was released in 1996 and it had a really, really long production run. They ran it all the way until 2004. So that's an 8-year run for a wheel. And so unlike the new iteration, the original ADVAN Oni was a 2-piece wheel. If you look online, there's some differing information. Some of them might say it's a 3-piece wheel, but it's because a lot of the 2-piece wheels were rebuilt into 3-piece wheels. Because of the size variations of them, they're available in every diameter, 14, 15, 16, 17. So obviously having such a long production run and having so many sizes, a lot of those wheels were rebuilt and a lot of them into 3-piece wheels. And because, like I said, the diameter, lots of applications, it was a very, very popular wheel. So 2004, sadly, the Oni was discontinued. 2004, they would sell all the production stock that they had left, and then the wheel was done. You know what? ADVAN also moved on to other tri-spoke wheels later on, Super ADVAN V2. So the 3-spoke didn't disappear from their lineup, but the Oni was discontinued at that time. And now here we are, 25 years later, 2021, the ADVAN ONI2 debuts. The ONI2 that just came out is not fueled by the same philosophy the old wheel was fueled by, which was drifters and kind of Oni-kan fitment. This new ONI2 is actually fueled by K-car and compact fitments. So that's why this wheel was brought back, because it's made for a smaller size, so it suits a lot of those vehicles. So that means when the wheel was released, it was only available in a 14 and 15 inch with a 4x100 bolt pattern specifically catered to those compact and K-cars I was talking about. But the style of the wheel was to bring back the original spirit of the ADVAN Oni, which was a tri-spoke design. However, the new ADVAN Oni is a single piece and a multi-piece wheel like the previous generation. Also being an ADVAN, this new wheel is full form cast, so it's made in Japan, and they're using all ADVAN's newest technologies to produce this new single piece wheel. In terms of sizing, this wheel is available also in 2 face designs, standard in GTR, which has a little bit deeper depth, and color wise, this wheel is offered now in 4 colors. So I'll put all the 4 colors up there for you to see. First, of course, this one here, which is diamond and machining black, which gives a really, really nice look. This one resembles the most of what the Oni was looking like before. Nice silver, but it's got modern finishes, iridescent. And another thing I like is got this gloss black highlights to kind of show off some of the features that kind of move on with the legacy wheel. Next one they have is machining and gun metallic. Of course, what you've also seen is that machining and champagne gold. It's got the champagne gold center. It has the machining lip. And the last one, an iconic Advan color, Racing Candy Red with the machine lip. So notice that on all these wheels, it's either this one, all kind of machined diamond cut, or they're machining the lip on all of them. That gives you the illusion that it's a two-piece wheel. So I feel like you get the best advantages. You get that two-piece wheel look, but you get the strength and the weight savings of a single-piece wheel with this new Oni 2. So originally, look at the design of the wheel. We thought this was only gonna be available in a 14 and 15 inch, but in Tokyo Auto Salon 2022, something major happened. They decided to release a crazy wheel. It was called the ADVAN Oni 2 progressive model. I thought it was a concept wheel at first, and it had it on an, I believe, an HKS Supra, and it was actually a huge wheel of this one. It was a 20-inch prototype, but now they've announced that they've actually put that wheel into production. The reason for that is after the debut of it at the Auto Salon, it had really great reception, and actually I saw some great coverage for it this last SEMA 2023 on actually someone I know, Josh Vittel's various Supra. He actually was rocking the new Oni 2 progressives on his car. So I'm gonna picture of his car up here. It looks totally outrageous. Like it just has a 3-spoke design, such a big flat face, really big dish. And a couple other changes they made for the progressive model is even though it's a one-piece wheel, they actually have this look where they put all the bolts on the edge, if you notice there, that makes this wheel look more like a two-piece wheel. So during the time of the debut of the prototype to the release, they took it back to the drawing board. They made some changes for it. And the standard version had a 54mm lip, but the new deep GTR face, they call it, has a 73mm lip. So you can see it's a very, very deep wheel. This new Oni 2 progressive is kind of catered more for GTR, the new Nissan Z, and also of course the Supra. And they're starting to run these major sizes and make it really, really appealing to that classic cars in like the 20-inch wheel size. And the new wheel actually is available in 2 colors. The progressive one is available in machining, and it's available also in gloss piano black. So I feel like because they did 2 sizes, 14, 15 for this Oni 2, they did 20s for the Oni 2 progressive. There's gonna be more sizes coming out for this wheel, but the moment I'm making a video, I'm telling you these are the 2 variation and 2 wheels that are out right now. So now we finished the history. We're gonna do a deep dive on the wheel like I normally do, and I just want to show you guys first that this is the machining and diamond cut color. So like I said, I really like this color, but I want you guys to kind of look at the color is special because where they machine most of the wheel, but after they do a spray clear on it, and this clear makes the wheel look really iridescent. So I hold it up here, you can kind of see it has an iridescent finish on it. So there's a really nice clear on it, but it still shows all the metal CNC cutting that looks like the wheel's machined. What we call this is a diamond cut wheel. It gives you the impression that I think the wheel was like painted black first. So you can see the inside of the nut holes here, the edge of this here, it's black. Then it looks like they machine off the surface. And another thing that gives me the idea that this is happening is because, so a trademark, ADVAN ONI2 ADVAN Racing. Most ADVAN wheels, you're gonna see that they have ADVAN Racing kind of in between the spokes raised, but on Oni 2, they chose to stuck to the heritage version because the original Oni had Oni engraved on here. So here to have Oni 2 ADVAN Racing, and it's also filled in black. So this gives you the illusion that the wheel is also machined after it's painted black. Another really cool trademark of this wheel that they carried from the original Oni was these square lug holes. So it looks really unique for the heritage look. Having it square like this really carries this wheel back to the past. Another thing that looks crazy for this wheel, instead of cutting this uniform, if I turn the wheel this side, you can see here they cut this part out flat, and this is painted black as well. The tri-spoke here, it makes it that the triangle protrudes out from the wheel a lot more than you expect, and also it wouldn't have a very thin band of metal here kind of sticking. They just chose to cut this off, have it flat. With this wheel, it's a uniform color, so this is the machining, but like I told you, the other colors, champagne, red, and black, they have the outside machine and the inside color. So what ADVAN's chose to do with this wheel is you look inside here, there's a very big, deep recessed cut. So this recessed cut here is still silver on the other colors, gives you the illusion it's a 2-piece wheel, just like the original Oni. The other thing that ADVAN has that they always do in their wheels in the past was something called a tampo printing. They chose to go back to that, and it says ADVAN Racing Flow Forming Japan Made. So like I said, flow made wheel, made only in Japan, like all their ADVAN wheels, and that's been tampoed here. Got nice raised lettering here, but another thing I also see is they also cleared it on top. Another thing that ADVAN chose to do with this wheel that carried from the old Oni is their lip style. It has a flat lip here with a raised flange. This is their legacy style lip. This is what wheels back in the past used to do for lips. All the new ADVAN wheels, they choose to do a double lip with a cut inside of here. So it looks like they cut out material on the middle of this lip, but on this legacy wheel, they chose, of course, to keep it flat. So it gives you this nice kind of accent look that is multi-stepped to give you that further illusion it's a 2-piece wheel. The last kind of heritage piece I want to get into is this valve stem hole here. The machine a little bit different than what I normally see in modern wheels. They kind of have it black in here as well, and they cut away here. But the JWL VIA, it's stamped very deep in here, very recessed into the wheel. And that recessed thing kind of gives you the illusion it's like a legacy cast wheel. Because back in the day when they used to cast wheels, it's have very deep pockets where they'll put engravings for initials, for certifications, for sizing, things like that. So this two little square black blocks, this also makes the wheel look more like a vintage wheel. Turn our attention to the side of the wheel. We have the beefed up flanges. So the front out here, very, very thick flanges, thicker than most wheel companies that are out in the market. So that means that if you're doing a measuring on the wheel, you gotta remember you're measuring the width of the wheel here to here. But if the flange is very thick on the wheel, that's something that's not on the spec sheet that you're gonna have to encompass for if you're trying to get really close to the fender. The other thing that's a very modern manufacturing method is they have these additional flanges on the inside, which are gonna hold the wheel beaded up to there. And one thing I also like is, as you see, ADVAN, very high quality. They also finish all inside the barrel. There's nothing raw here that causes bead corrosion, or over time we're using the wheel, it's not gonna start rusting inside of here. It's all finished across, which makes it really nice. And now we turn attention to the back of the wheel. So back of the wheel, not much fuss back here. They have these kind of flat stamped areas here. It says made in Japan. They have the model number here, but they also have a little bit of cutting here to save weight. And also what I like is inside the barrel, because this is the machining wheel, it's black on the inside. They kept it entirely black here as well. So even when you look through the spokes, you can still see it's all black. It looks really, really clean. There you have your Yokohama stamp, and they have a little bit of cutting here, deep enough here for you to fit a spacer, but it's deep enough you can have a little bit of pockets there for some mounting. So because this wheel is such a narrow wheel and a small wheel, I don't think you're supposed to be running a lot of heavy spaces on there, so there's not a lot of material for them to cut in the back here. Inside here, of course, we have our two decals. We have our JWL VIA decal certification, but Yokohama wheels, they all have a vector for each one. So this Yokohama original wheel design sticker, this is made in 2022, December 15th. So this wheel is, I guess, a little bit over 1 year old since what I'm looking at. PCD 100 and inspector Y Suzuki. A lot of wheels I check out, Suzuki seems to be inspected them. So thanks Suzuki for doing a good job. All right, so of course we gotta weigh off every wheel. So last we do is weigh this off. And this guy, he is a 15 by 7.5 plus 40. So really small wheel. So I'm gonna guess between 13 to 14 pounds. So I'm gonna put this on so it's zeroed out. We got a hard surface, we got a wheel in this box. Put on. 13.4 pounds. That's super, super light for this wheel. Of course, you know, modern standards, it's a mold form single piece wheel. So definitely super, super light. All right, so that concludes my in-depth review of the new ADVAN Oni 2, the resurgence of original Oni. One piece, modern manufacturing methods, made in Japan, 4 colors. I think it covers them all. And now Oni 2 Progressive just debuted in person, 19-20 inch for the big heavy hitters. So guys enjoyed that video, let me know below, hit a comment, make sure you guys keep subscribing, give me a thumbs up, and let's get us to 10K subscribers, all right? Thanks.